Alright, who's ready for round 2? Let's make a base body. In the last video, we drew some guidelines that are going to basically define where we want to draw the base body lines. There's a couple critical dimensions that I forgot to talk about. We'll go real quick. The first one is for finger clearance. I learned this one the hard way on my very first build. I put horns on, but I made them too close to the neck, so that basically made them like unusable. If you can't fit your hand in there to reach the upper frets, then there's no point in having a cutaway at all. So what the Fender Jazz uses is 2 inches, give or take, above the top of the neck, and then 3 inches below. So let's just copy a line and put it over there in the neighborhood of 2 inches. So looks good. And then we'll copy and paste it below. So 3 inches below. And these aren't hard and fast. They're just an idea that when you make a horn, like if you're gonna put a cutaway, give it about 3 inches below the neck to make a good comfortable space to play. One last guideline is you want to take your last fret and just copy it and move it down to the neck, and that will tell you when you draw in your horns, if you'll be able to tell just looking at the grid how many inches it is to your last fret access. It's not necessarily where the bottom of the heel is, it's just where the last fret is. We'll worry about a heel pocket once we get a body drawn. Alright, so I like to draw my bodies from scratch. That's why I kind of got into this whole building bases in the first place, is I had some ideas about what I wanted to make. But I know that a lot of guys like to, pay homage to stuff that's been built by other peeps. So I'll show you how to do that first, and it's real simple. So you just go to View, Background Bitmap, and then Place. And so now you have your file of your favorite drawings. Let's say that we wanted to do something that was inspired by the Fender Bass 6, which is enjoying a surge in popularity lately. My favorite, Robert Smith, plays a Fender Bass 6 on the old Cure albums. Alright, first I like to just put it in color. Now you want to align this so that it matches. There's a couple ways you can do it. You can align the bitmap to the body you're doing right now, or you can just draw it and then move the lines and scale them. But let's do it the intuitive way and just put the bitmap underneath what we're working on. So we're going to use a line. So make sure your snaps are off. And we basically want to just draw the center line of this guitar. We just want to trace it. So right about there to right between the saddles at the theoretical bridge point. That looks good. And then now we want to do the same thing on the construction plane. So let's turn on snaps. We're going to go from the nut to the bridge. Boom. Alright, now it put the background on there. So now you can just go in and make a new layer called body. And if you draw black on black, it's hard to see what you're doing, so I like to use some contrasting color. Red's a good one. And now you can use your it's asking me if we're done. Yes, we're done. Right, so Curve Interpolate Points is the best tool for this one. So all we're going to do is just go in and trace. And the way it works is you want to put some dots, turn off your snaps. You want to have all your snaps off for this because you're just free-forming it. So let's just draw what we see. And all you got to do is just click right on the edge of it as you go, and it will kind of follow the contour. Oh, why didn't my color stick? Red. red, enter. What's going on with you? All right. Oh, and also, you got to make sure that your layer that you want to draw in is actually selected. So let's turn on the dot there, and let's just start over. So interpolate points. With this tool, what we're drawing, each little point that we're putting is called a knot, and the more knots you have, the more control you have over the shape of the curve. The only thing is it's a trade-off. Too many knots and it's hard to make a fair curve. It's hard to make a curve look smooth if you have too many knots. I'm a fan of just the absolute minimum, and so what I'll do is just kind of go along and do, you know, every few inches. You get a sense for it after a while that, you know, you can go kind of long passes without having to draw too many knots. But one thing that I'll do after I'm done is go through and just delete the ones that I think that don't matter, and then try to use control points to stretch the line that I'm drawing to match the body in the least amount of control points possible, and then you know you're getting a nice fair curve that's going to look good when you cut it out. Alright, so now we've got a red line that matches the body of our awesome base 6. Now let's go to view bitmap, and if you want to keep it there, you can just hide it or you can just remove it. So we're not going to mess with this too long, so let's take it out. So now we've got a body that looks pretty good, and you can imagine that, you know, for some, if that's what you want to do, you could just go from there. You got to draw in you know, the heel, of course, the part you couldn't trace to finish. But let's say that I wanted to use this, but I wanted it to match the dimensions that I put in. So the first thing that I would do is just slide it forward so that the upper horn hits where it's supposed to go, and then you can use some neat transform, scale, one dimension trickery to make it fit our predetermined body size that we want to make. So let's go like that, and let's do it again. And just pull it in so it fits our blank. So now we've got this little tiny Fender Base 6 looking thing. And then from there, if we wanted to, now we would just sketch in the heel. You know, so let's just do that real quick. If you want to make these transitions match, you can, a couple different ways you can do it. Turn on the control points, and so now you have these little points that you can drag. Here's a pretty cool thing. If you can select more than one, and instead of dragging them, just use your nudge controls and put them where you need them to go. And so you're kind of keeping the same basic shape of the curve for every knot that you, or every control point that you select. So that looks pretty good. And so the next thing that you would do is just turn these control points off. You can't do anything with the curve if the edit points are on. Oops. Edit points off. Alright, so now we're just going to draw a polyline that defines just about where we might want to put our heel. Alright, and then let's go intersection and end. and then we'll go intersection to end, and intersection to end, and then what we want to do is just round those corners. So let's do a tangent, tangent, radius. First tangent curve, second tangent curve, radius will be 1/4 inch. Where'd you go? Let's try again. Oh, I didn't like that. Okay. First tangent curve, second tangent curve, radius. Okay. And let's do that on this one. Red, red, 1/4 inch. All right, pretty cool. So now we can just trim these. Select your cutting objects. And your objects to trim. And let's do it again and get our little, select cutting objects. Objects to trim. Okay. And so now we just want to take all those little pieces and join them. When you join them, they'll act like one big curve, so you're not hunting for all your little pieces later. And it knew what I wanted to do. As soon as you make a closed curve, it just stops what it's doing. So now you have a basic body, but say it's kind of bumpy still and you're not really happy with it. So what you could do is just turn on your control points and start moving them around until it look good. We're not going to dwell on this though, because making other designs over again isn't really my cup of tea. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I use Rhino's tools for designing my own bodies, which, you know, there's only so much you can do with a base unless you're doing, you know, some really crazy stuff, but I'm a, I guess, quasi-traditionalist. So we'll say that this one's, oh, you know what, let's play a little bit more. Let's make it match all the dimensions that we talked about. So we want to make the hips hit 9 inches, but that looks weird. So let's move out all these over a little bit too. And let's move all these up. Alright, so there's your 7 inches of hips. And then maybe I would make this cutaway a little bit deeper so that you could reach that upper fret. And I'd probably do the same for this horn, just a little bit, a couple tenths. Alright, so that would be my interpretation of a base 6 made my way tiny body style. Just a quick note too, when you're working on bodies, everybody knows that when you draw them, sometimes they look good in one orientation, but you flip them up and you see them in a totally different light. So what I like to do is go to maximize all your views, and now pick this perspective one. You don't need it right now because you're not drawing anything where you need to see what you're doing three-dimensionally yet. So just take this view, just highlight it, and go view, set view, and then top. So now we have two tops. Now you take this one and you view, rotate, and just rotate it till it's 90 degrees. It's probably a quicker way to do this in the settings, but I don't do it very often, so whatever. Okay, so now you can just drag this window and you have a upright view of your base as well, so you can see it in the playing position as well as in the play and on the stand position. Sorry, I'm a little slow. Been packing my house all day long. Okay, so that's a pretty cool body, but that's not what we're making here. So let's get rid of that. And actually, you know what? Let's just leave it because it's cool. That's the great thing about Rhino is layers are free. Use them. So let's make body 2. Enter. And let's select that one. And let's just hide, or the light bulb just turns off that layer we just drew. So body 2. And let's make this layer something else. Purple. I like purple. Alright. Now we're going to just sketch a body. There's a couple of ways that I go about this. You can just select your curve through points and just start clicking. But I have my own ways of doing it. The first thing that I usually do, and this method works okay for me, layer dialog is in the way. Okay. I actually just make a control point curve. And control point curves don't behave like you expect them to, because you're drawing the actual control points of the curve instead of the actual curve. So you end up getting something that kind of acts like that. So now you just turn on the control points, and basically this is like the rear of the base, and I'm doing it in as few lines as possible. So that looks pretty sharp. All we're doing is basically defining the back curve. I usually go almost all the way up to the heel with it. But I think that one's going to work pretty good. All right, so let's turn off those points. And now we're going to do an interpolate points curve. It's kind of based on that being the back of our base. So you want to get something going that's kind of basically tangent. I say basically a lot. Basically. We're going to do something that's tangent to that curve. So we're going to draw a little horn, and we're going to draw the ugliest base on Earth right now, because I want you to get that it doesn't really matter, because it's all about how you move the points around after you get going. Right, so that's some pretty nasty looking stuff right there. So first thing that we want to do is turn on your control points, and then you just start playing. Just start moving them around. In any base design that you do from scratch, this is probably going to be the step that takes the longest. I'll do this for literally days until I'm happy with something. Not all day long. I have a job, but every time I open up the model, I'll be like, oh, that curve is a disaster. So I'll go in and just start messing with stuff. And I usually, for me, I always start with the horns. If the horns look right, everything else just kind of falls into place. The neat thing about the control points is if you want them to match, if you want the horns to match a little bit, then just make the control points look the same, like kind of where you have them laid and the direction that they go and all that, and your horns will magically look pretty good. So we're just gonna push them around and see what happens. Let's move this one back a little bit. Let's move these guys back. And remember, you can grab them and do all kinds of stuff with them as their own thing. They don't necessarily have to be moved one at a time. You do want to keep in mind how much neck you plan on putting in there. So, you want to make sure that as you design, you're thinking about your heel pocket. It's not the most critical thing. Right now, you just care about making it look good. But it's definitely something you should think about. And so I'll switch views once in a while and get in there and play on both You know, this is actually that went pretty quick. This is starting to look like something that I can work with. So what we're gonna do now is make it into one thing. So let's open this up again, turn off the control points, and we're just gonna do a trim. Oh, they didn't cross right. So let's see if we can get in there and find out who the culprit is. All right. Oh, Command Z, escape. Let's turn on some points and just make this guy cross. Select objects for control point display. Enter. All right. And we can just make it so that it crosses the line, and then that's going to give us a place for it to split. And then we can merge it and smooth it out. It looks like this does a fine job. So let's try that split again. Okay, and done. So now let's just take those two curves and let's join them. Actually, we got to go in and look for stragglers real quick in the extra lines. So let's actually just do another trim. Okay, they should touch at only one point or they won't behave when you go to join them. Okay, that looks good. And it's, you know, they might cross a couple times, so all you got to do is go through and delete the pieces, and you should be straight. All right, so now we can join that one curve. Now if we turn on those control points, actually let's do this real quick. You end up with a couple extra knots when you do this. So let's turn off the points. Let's turn on edit points. So we can go through and delete the ones that aren't doing anything for us, that just kind of ended up there in the fricassee. All right, now let's turn our control points back on, and now we can start playing, you know, push and shove and get this thing looking like a base. Like I was saying, you can delete points that aren't doing anything for you. You can also add them. That's probably that looks like a good setup. I usually like 4 on each horn and 3 for the heel, and 4 on the top and 3 on the bottom and 2 in the back is, you know, I wouldn't say a formula, but it's where I always end up. So imagine that there's some 3D modeler that works for Pixar or something that is watching these videos, and they're like, "Oh, you suck at Rhino. You're terrible. I could be done already." And you know what? Probably right. Feel free to chime in. I'm always looking for points. Just because I've been doing this a long time doesn't mean I'm very good at it. But like I said, I get it done. So, you know what? Let's do this. Let's move this horn a little bit and make it so that the whole horn is like 1 inch from the bottom of the base. And then we'll grab these guys and move them back down. Let's do the same thing up here. Let's make that upper horn be kind of there. That should start giving us a little more symmetry. That's looking pretty good. And so you can play this game all day. So let's look at it this way. It's looking kind of sorry through here. Let's fix that. And push this guy up a little more. And this horn is looking a little sad. Make it a little stronger looking. Strong like bull. Alright, that doesn't look too bad. Here's another neat trick. If you like the shape of something, but it's not really oriented the way you want it to go, you can not only use like transform, move, or drag them around or whatever you want to do, but you can also use your other tools like transform, rotate. Is pretty handy. So let's say we just want to like turn this horn down a little bit and then scoot it over. There's a pretty handy little thing. Then you can go in and fix this because that looks kind of uncomfortable on your leg. Put it down to the line where it's supposed to be. See how like those guidelines kind of keep you, while you're all lost in your right brain and being all artistic. The guidelines kind of help you keep it, to where it's still going to be usable. So you might decide not to put guidelines, but I find them indispensable. Alright, I feel like I'm going to start losing my audience if I just sit here tweaking on these lines all day. So let's say that magically after doing this for an hour, I arrive at something that I'm happy with, which it'll happen. I actually did a dry run of this earlier today and made a base that I like better than the first one I showed you in the first video. So you just do it and don't think about it too much. Just have fun, push the lines around, and the magic will happen. You'll get, I think, a lot better at Rhino and at making bases and thinking about what pleases your eye by doing this more than copying pictures of Rickenbackers and Foderas into Rhino and trying to copy those. You can't break Rhino by playing with it. So I encourage you to try to make your own designs. So let's say that that's our body. Let's do that headstock real quick, and this will go real quick because, like I said, we're doing that hockey stick style. So let's make another layer, and we'll call it headstock. And we'll do this one in blue. Alright, so we need to make a line that defines the top of the headstock. So easiest way to do that, I want this to be kind of a sharp look, so it's just going to be a straight line. Let's turn on our points, and let's go point to point on the first and the last, and we are not in the right layer. Let's try it again. Point to point. Alright, we'll just scoot that up until it covers the tuners, and that's pretty good. So let's extend this curve a little bit. We're going to extend it 1 inch on this side, and that's the thing too. You can keep extending until it's ludicrous, but we're just making a line to start with. So we're done. The next thing we want to do, you can see that I already did it here, but extend your necklines out a little bit too. Let's actually show you what I'm talking about. So this is what we had at the end of the last video, right? The first thing that you want to do is extend your top line for this particular one. Actually hit cancel. We want to extend this top line just enough so it's out past the nut before the curve starts. So select boundary objects or inner extension length. Let's put in 3/16. We're working in inches, and it'll take fractions just fine. It'll actually convert it for you. So that one's going to be 3/16. And now let's, okay, so that one's done. If this was a traditional headstock, we do both sides, but we're doing something a little different here. So let's copy this line and just move it down so that we have some meat to work with for the bottom of the headstock as well. So there's our, basically this piece of wood that's holding the tuners. So now let's take this bottom one, curve, extend curve, and select boundary objects. So this will be a boundary object. This pops up, I think it's just a bug in the beta. So select it again and done. And then select curve to extend. It'll extend that all the way out to there, hit enter, and now we're finished. So let's put a curve up here. We use, for sketching circles, I like tangent to 3 curves. It does more than just tangents. We can go tangent, and then at that end, and then we can just kind of sketch it in until it looks right. That looks pretty good. Now let's round this one off so we can do a tangent, tangent, radius, tangent, tangent, and 0.25. That looks a little soft. Let's firm it up a little bit. Tangent, tangent, 0.125. That looks sharp. All right, and then let's do one more tangent, tangent, radius. For this one, and then, oh, wrong choice. We want tangents at 3 curves. Tangent, tangent, and then we're going to start this circle all the way back here. So that's going to define the bottom of the headstock. And then lastly, actually I don't really like that. Let's do that one more time. There, there, and maybe an inch in or so. That's better. And then lastly, let's put a little round end to the headstock. Maybe that far out. And we'll round that off too. Tangent, tangent, radius. Tangent, tangent, and 0.125. And likewise for this one and this one. Okay, so now we have a headstock, kinda, right? let's trim it. So we'll select all the objects we're going to use for trimming. And hit trim, and now it just wants to know what you want to get rid of. So you end up with lots of little, oh, I did that wrong, didn't I? Damn it. You end up with lots of little pieces all over the place. But you can drag and select to make it go quicker if you want. And done. Okay, so now you have all of your pieces still selected. Command, let's get rid of the necklines. And then we can just join those, and 7 curves joined into 1 open curve. So that's our headstock. And let's take a look in this view and turn off that default where all of our scraggly lines are. Oops. Yeah. So that's a note about lines, is that these should all be in their own layers. So let's go like this and make a new layer called necklines. And then we'll view, or hang on, edit, layers, change object to current layer. Change object to current layer with the right layer selected. and then now you should be able to turn off your defaults and turn off those edit points and have a pretty good idea of where you're headed with your base. If you want to make your strings a little less nasty looking, you can go in and trim those too. Just use the tuner itself. Oh, or actually it's easier if you just draw a line, because this is an entity that's gonna divide that line up into a million little pieces. See what I'm saying? So there you go. We kind of got started on a base. So in the next video, this one went pretty long to not do a whole lot, but this is like the art of it, is drawing the body. So I just wanted to walk you through a few different tools that are out there. In the next video, we're going to sketch, we need to put the heel pocket and some pockets for the pickups, and we'll put in an electronics cavity. That'll all go pretty quick, and then we can work on the side profile. Thanks.